What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how you can launch your first profitable dropshipping ads. After spending over $1 million on the Facebook ad platform, I've learned a lot, and in today's video I'm going to be handing it over to you so you can saturate this knowledge and start implementing it today. Also, I want to make a deal with you guys. If you get this video to 800 likes, then I'm going to make a document of the top 10 products you can sell right now with Facebook ad interest that you can target and use the exact strategy I'm teaching you guys today. I'm also going to leave some other details like a Facebook ad, the competitor's website, the selling price, and I'm going to hand it over to you guys. So make sure to drop a like if you want that document, but let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this video and start building your first profitable dropshipping ads. Before we get into the technicalities, let me explain some core concepts you must understand before you attempt this strategy. Facebook ads is an auction platform, which essentially means that Facebook puts ads against each other, and the one which Facebook determines more likely to be successful will win the auction. Which means that if you have a great Facebook ad that has tons of engagement and the audience loves it, then Facebook will choose your ad, and you'll be rewarded massively with the best audience base. Now the question is, how can you actually create a Facebook ad that's guaranteed to win the auction? First off, if you don't have much budget, I've actually made a video showing you how you can create your own Facebook ads, so I'm going to drop a link above so you can check that out. But then I also recommend using a website like Fiverr to get them made, as it's going to make your life a lot easier so you don't need to worry about creating the ad. Just the technicalities, which I'm gonna be showing you right now. Once your ad's ready to go, let's hop onto Facebook and get the party started. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to set up our Facebook pixel. So what exactly is the Facebook pixel? The Facebook pixel is a code that you install on your website, and it allows Facebook to track different metrics. For example, add to carts and purchases. And why this is so important that you put on your website, it allows Facebook to match you with the right customers. For example, if Facebook sends you a customer and they make a purchase, you probably want more of those customers, but they won't know what that customer looks like unless they have that data. So this is why it's so important to make sure you install this correctly. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Luckily, it's super easy. So let's hop into my computer and I'm going to show you guys how we can install it. So right now I'm assuming you already have a Facebook ad manager. If you don't, then all you need to do is type in Google Facebook ad manager, and in a few seconds you'll be on the same page as I am. Once you're on this page, all you need to do is come over this section that says business settings, click through to here, and then what we're looking for is this drop down that says data sources. Once you've gotten into this drop down, just click into it, and there's going to be a section called pixels. So all you're going to want to do is click this, and then there's going to be this template to add new pixels. So all we need to do is click this blue plus sign, and then this form is going to come up. So we can just name our pixel here. So for this video, I'm going to name it YouTube pixel, and just click continue. And then all we have to do is follow the integration tools that it tells us. We want to say set up pixel now, and then it's going to say add code using a partner integration. So we're going to choose this one, and then it's going to give us a few different point of services that we can choose from. And obviously for this video, we're going to be using Shopify. So I'm going to click through to Shopify, and then we're going to want to make sure this button is turned on. Why we want to keep this on is it's going to make sure our matching is more accurate. So I don't need to go into the technicalities of that, but it's very important that you do have this on. And then you can just click continue, and what's going to happen is they're going to give you some different information needed to install it. So the first thing you need to do is go onto Shopify and go under the online store tab, and then you can just click continue, and then they're going to give you your Facebook pixel. And then under preferences, all you need to do is scroll down, and then there's going to be a section called Facebook pixels, and you can just enter it in there. I'm going to leave some B-roll on the screen showing how you can actually do that, but now that you have your Facebook pixel installed, we're ready to rock. Alright, sweet. Now that your Facebook pixel is set up, we're going to want to do one last thing before we launch those sweet Facebook ads. Okay guys, so if you come to your ad manager, you're going to see all these different columns over here. And basically what these are different metrics and statistics that Facebook's going to track for you. And you can actually change these up. And the reason we're going to want to change these up is because currently they're not optimized for e-commerce businesses. So it's really easy to do this. So the first thing you need to do is come over this column tab over here. And all you need to do is scroll down and hit customize columns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change mine out, and then I'll drop down in the description which columns I chose so you guys can make sure you can replicate mine. Alright, so right now your column should look something like mine. So now that your columns are set up, let's hop into the testing phase so we can start validating those products. Alright, so now we're ready to set up our Facebook ad. So the first thing we're going to want to do is obviously come over this green plus sign and click create. And then what's going to happen, it's going to take you this page asking your marketing objective. So it can get a little bit confusing here because there's all these different things that you can choose. And as a beginner, you would think something like brand awareness, traffic, or even engagement would be a good way to start. But let me tell you, the only thing that we're going to be really running today is going to be these conversions or catalog sales. Everything else isn't really relevant unless we're doing hot campaigns, which I will show you down the line. But for a beginner, all we're going to want to do right here is click conversions, because this basically means that we're going after sales. So now we can just name our campaign name, and a couple tips on how to name your campaign. For me, what I do is I always start off if it's a cold, warm, or hot campaign. So for in this instance, I'm going to do cold. And then if you're just starting and testing, what I'm going to name it is phase 1 interest testing. And now that you have that ready, you're pretty much good to go. So all you need to do is obviously set up your ad account. So it's gonna have you put in some information like the ad country, the currency, and the time zone. This is very important because this is what your metrics are gonna be based off of. So make sure it's the correct time zone. So after you click continue, you're gonna be on this ad set creation part. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna make sure you're on the destination of the website. And then you're gonna wanna make sure your Facebook pixel's connected. I already showed you guys how to do that. I didn't do it for the example today, but basically after that, you can avoid this here. We're not going to be using cost control, but basically what this does, it helps stabilize your budget a little bit, but it's not the best for starting out. So we're going to ignore that right off the bat. And then you can click show more options. And there's going to be a couple different things that you can pick right here. I would leave it at 7 days after clicking right off the bat. You don't need to start manipulating stuff like that when you first get started. And now you're going to see this dynamic creative thing. I would ignore that for now. And also this offer thing. Here is what we really need to focus on is the audience we're going to be targeting. This custom audience over here is something we'll talk about in the warm campaigns, but for now we're just going to ignore it. What we want to focus on is this location section. So over here, we can put different locations that we actually want to target. What I usually target is only the 4 countries. Some people like targeting a bunch of countries, but I like focusing in on United States, United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Canada. And that's basically all I target for countries. So I'm just going to type those in real quickly. And after we have our country set up, you can see this age parameter thing over here. And what we can do is we can adjust it. Usually I'll do 21 plus unless you think people 18 will buy it. But in my opinion, most 18-year-olds just don't have the capital to buy products online all the time. So it's best to just do 21 plus. And then over here, there's going to be this detailed target expansion, which we definitely want to click that off because this is going to give you more people than you want to target. What we want to do is we want to focus on the detailed targeting and actually find different interests. So what I'm actually going to be launching the ad around today is going to be this Starry Light product. So I'm going to pop a little ad on the screen of what it is. But basically it's this product that you put in your room and it makes your whole room look like stars. So this is a really cool product. So I'm going to show you guys what interests I would actually target so you guys can get inside my head and you guys can actually do this with your product. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to think about my product and I'm going to think about who would actually buy it. So for this Starry product, who I think would absolutely love this is space lovers. So people who like constellations, people who like galaxy and all that type of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type constellation over here and I'm going to see if there's anything we can find. And as you see, constellation's a very popular interest with over 44 million likes, which that's a really nice audience. Don't be scared of targeting audiences like this because Facebook's AI is definitely smart enough to pick the right customers out of that. And here's another pro tip. Let's say you typed in constellation and you didn't want to run with a 44 million audience. What you can do is use this suggestion tab over here and you can just launch this up and basically they're going to give you all these different audiences that relate to that audience. So if you don't want to do 44 million, you could come over here and you could say, all right, let's only target people with Leo astrology. And then you could just click out a constellation and you could use this as the ad set. And what I would do at this point is I would take this ad set, I would copy it, and I would scroll all the way back up and I would put this at the beginning. Libra astrology, and then the countries you're targeting, and then 21 plus. So this gives us a bird's eye view when we're looking into our campaign, which is gonna make things super easy when you're actually analyzing data down the line. So now that you have your targeting down, what you're going to want to do is scroll down to this placement section. Automatic placements can be very advantageous, but we're not going to use them starting off, especially on cold interest. What I like to do for cold is only target Facebook newsfeed and Instagram feed because those are the 2 places where people are most likely to buy. And then you can just click all this other stuff off. It can be beneficial to test it, but that's when we get into the scaling phase. So now after you've gotten rid of everything else, you can just scroll down and you can put your daily budget. What we want to do for this campaign though is that we want to make sure that we set this up on the campaign optimization level. And the reason we're doing this is because Facebook recently rolled out this feature. Because basically what CBO means is that it will take all the ad sets in your campaign and it will spend them more efficiently. What used to happen is you would set the budget on ad set level, and for example, if one of your ad sets were doing better than the other ones, Facebook wouldn't direct the budget to the winning ad set. So this makes it so Facebook can make proper decisions for you, and trust me, their AI is smarter than you are. So in this budgeting over here, it depends how many ad sets you're gonna run and how much your product price is, but I usually like doing at least 5 times our desired CPA. So what the CPA is cost per acquisition. And how you actually calculate this is take the product you're selling and minus it by your cost of goods and cost of shipping, and then you have your net profit. And what you want to do there is you want to figure out how much profit you need before you're actually not positive anymore. So let's say it's $30. What we'd want to do is we want to have about a $150 budget. And you can definitely do this lower, but if you want results fast, then this is the best way to test. And Facebook actually optimizes your campaigns around 50 purchases in 1 week. So this will help you get there faster. And obviously this is a new ad account I'm showing you on. So I can't actually do $150. So I'm just going to put 25 in, and then we're going to get back to the ad set level. And at this point, your ad set should be pretty much ready to go. So all we're going to want to do is click continue, and it's going to take us on the ad level. So in this ad level, you're going to want to do a few things. First, you're going to want to pick what Facebook ad you're going to be advertising with, and if there's an Instagram account connected to it, you can also toggle it on over here. And then after we do that, there's going to be a few different settings over here. We don't have any existing posts yet, so you can ignore that. But what we want to choose over here is either a carousel, single image, or a collection ad. I definitely recommend either doing a carousel or a video ad. Video ads are usually most effective. So I'm going to be showing you how to launch a video ad today. And after you've done that, all you need to do is come over here, click add media, and we're just going to upload a video. So give me 1 second, and once the video is uploaded, we'll be back with it. Okay, cool. So now our video is actually uploaded. If you come over here, you can see different ratios that are actually best practices. And for Facebook and Instagram ads, I recommend just doing 1 by 1. So a square ad is absolutely ideal. Since I downloaded this off AliExpress, it's just what I found. I'm not actually running the ad today, but for your own knowledge, 1 by 1 is definitely best. And after you set that up, we're gonna wanna create our copy. So over here, we wanna be clear, concise, and hook their attention and provide some benefits in buying the products. Let me show you a good example of what some good copy looks like. Okay guys, so this is my example. Are you bored at home? That's my hook to catch their attention. And after that, I put our product as a solution. Spice it up with a galaxy light. And then I just listed off 3 other benefits. And if you want to find emojis, you can just go on a website like emojipedia.com and you can put them in over here. So I said, bring the galaxy with you anywhere. And then another benefit is it's perfect for romantic date night. So this would definitely catch a different buyer pool. And then the next one is your children are gonna love it. So in those separate bullet points, I targeted a few different demographics. So this makes it so our audience is a little bit more broad. And this helps customers imagine what they're gonna use this product for, which is a really good way to sell products. And then the last thing I did is just leave a call to action over here, which is get yours here. And obviously this isn't a real store name. So I'm gonna leave it like that. And then what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna leave a headline right here. And this headline is really important because this is a big metric on our click-through rate. So what I wanna put over here is something that's gonna grab their attention. So I use bring the galaxy with you. So I think this is gonna catch a lot of space lovers' attention. And now all we wanna do is come over to this website URL and we wanna paste it in right here. And then what you need to do is you need to come to the call to action section, and you're either gonna wanna change it to learn more or shop now or get offer. If you have a big discount going, then get offer looks really nice and clean. So you can see our ad over here. Obviously I don't have a real ad in here. This was just some placeholder off AliExpress, but you can see now that we're pretty much ready to go. So what you're gonna wanna do over here is click confirm, and basically what's gonna happen is Facebook's gonna publish your ad and it's gonna go into the review phase. In this review phase, it can take anywhere from 1 hour all the way up to 48 hours for your ad to get approved. But once it's approved, it will start running on that budget. But after it's published, what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna come to the ad set level and we're gonna wanna duplicate that initial ad set 4 times. And the reason being is we usually want 5 ad sets inside one single CPO. So after you've duplicated that, you're gonna wanna come back to the ad set level on each of the different ad sets that you duplicated, and you're gonna wanna come back to that suggested section over here, and you're gonna wanna find some different audiences that you wanna test inside of it. So for example, if we chose Gemini, astrology, then I could just get rid of Libra, and we're gonna delete that, and we're gonna delete the other interests, and then we're gonna name the other ad set the audience that we actually chose. So we're gonna wanna do this in all 5 ad sets, and then once you've done that, you've successfully launched your first cold phase testing ad. So give yourself a pat on the back if you've done this. Now I wanna talk about some metrics you're gonna wanna look for after this is actually live and off the ground. So obviously the first thing that we're looking for right now is purchases, and the second metric would be add to cart. If you have enough purchases that you're profitable, then that's awesome. I'll tell you some ways that you can boost that even higher in just a second. But if you only have add to carts right now, then you don't really have proper data. It means that you have interest in your product, but there's not enough interest to purchase. So I recommend testing this at least one more day to see if you can get to that promised land of purchases. The next thing that we're gonna look out for is click-through rate. The reason click-through rate is so important is it could give us a huge opportunity to optimize those ads even further. So for example, let's say your ads right now are just under profitable, but you have a 1.5% click-through rate. This is great. We can look at this number and we can realize that this isn't a good click-through rate. So what we can do at that point is we can optimize our thumbnails further, we can optimize our scroll stoppers, or we could even release a new ad to make sure that we get those profitable. Because the higher that click-through rate percentage is, the cheaper your cost per click, and the cheaper your cost per click, the cheaper your cost per acquisition or cost per purchase. So based off my experience, what a good click-through rate is over 2.5%. A great click-through rate would be over 4%. So anything under 2% really wouldn't be great, and you'd want to go back to the drawing board to make sure you optimize for these statistics. So now that you've analyzed with this data and you've determined the status of your ads, you either need to go back to the drawing board and watch this section again so you make sure that you follow these metrics and criteria in order to take this next step, which this next step is obviously scaling. So if you are profitable and you have the right metrics, then let's move on to this next section. I'm going to show you guys how you can scale your ads and maintain a cheap cost per purchase and get to those 10K days. So let's get into it. So if your ads are currently profitable, you're probably wondering how you can increase that budget without killing your cost per purchase. The first method's super simple. You're gonna wanna come over that initial CBO that you created, which is currently profitable, and you're gonna wanna rise this budget by 50%. So for example, if your budget's $25 right now, what you could do is you could rise it to $37.50. And you would let it run for 2 days, and if at that point it's still profitable, then I would raise it by another 50%, and you can just rinse and repeat this method until it's not profitable anymore. The next method I'm actually going to be showing you should definitely use in conjunction with this, because if your ads aren't profitable anymore, this is a way that you can get your ads re-profitable and make sure that you use your data properly. So the next method I'm going to be showing you will require that you at least have 10 sales. Ideally you'll have more than that, but in this method we're actually going to use Facebook's breakdown tool to identify which audiences are actually profitable for us. And it's really easy to actually use this breakdown tool. All we need to do is come over this drop down over here called breakdown, and you can actually filter by all these different metrics. So for example, if we come over this by delivery tab, we can go to age, and it will actually break down which age is getting us sales. And if we want to actually go by gender, or we can go by location, country, platform, meaning Instagram or Facebook, then this will give us a lot more clear data, and we'll be able to see that. And if we can see that almost all of our sales came from Instagram, what we can do is we can actually duplicate that initial CBO and only target people on Instagram. So this will give us a lot better data because we'll actually be able to optimize what's getting the most sales for us. And your CPM might go up at this point, but it's definitely fine as long as your purchases stay consistent and you're still profitable. Now the next method I'm going to be showing you is going to require a little bit more data, but it's definitely worth it. In this method, we're going to be scaling using lookalike audiences. It's actually super easy to set up lookalike audiences, but here's the caveat. When you're setting up lookalike audiences for either purchases or add to cart, you definitely want either 500 or 1,000 of each given action. So this means that you would at least need to have 500 purchases for it to be actually effective. But luckily for us, there's actually different lookalike audiences that we can target, which will still garner results. It's super easy to create these lookalike audiences. All we need to do is come over this business tool dropdown and click this audience button. And what's going to happen is it's going to redirect us to this page where we can actually target which audiences we're trying to create. So you just need to click this create a lookalike audience button, and then what it's gonna have over here is create a new source. And we're gonna wanna click this drop down, and we're gonna wanna select custom audience. And this is where we can actually identify what demographic we're going at. So the first one that I would run if you don't have 500 purchases or add to carts is come over this website section over here. And what you can do is you can actually select people who've been on your website the top 5%. So that means the people who stayed on your website 95% more than anyone else. And this is a really good audience to target because obviously those people have been super engaged in your website and these are super likely to make purchases. And then after you've added your lookalike source, you can just come over here and target what locations you're going after. So if you're initially targeting just United States and Canada, make sure you put that over here. And this part's gonna get a little bit confusing because this is gonna be select the audience size. So basically it's gonna give you a number from 1 to 10. What I recommend right off the bat is that you only test 1%. But if that 1% is profitable, then what you can do is you can come over here and you can create one for each of these percents. And you can actually test them all out, which will give you more range of data. The next lookalike audience that I suggest you test if you don't have 500 purchases is come over this create new source and go to another custom audience. And what you're gonna wanna do is select video over here. This feature is really nice because what you can do is you can come over and if you've ran a video ad in the past, you can target certain metrics on the app. So for example, you can target people who have watched at least 50% of your video ad. And this is a really good audience pool to target because you know those people are super interested if they've watched at least 50%. My favorite audience in this video section is people who've watched at least 75% and then 95% is a good option as well. You're gonna at least want 25,000 to 50,000 views on that video for this to be a good metric to target. You can do the exact same thing that I showed you in the other lookalike audience by just selecting the location that you're targeting and then by clicking 1 to 10%. Like I said, always start out with 1% first, and if it's profitable, then you can move on to these and you can test 1 to 2%, you could go to 2 to 3%, and it will just go on and on. So this will give you a lot of ways to scale with your Facebook ads. So those 3 scaling methods I showed you will at least get you to $10,000 per day. If you want to see some of the other methods that I use to scale my campaigns even further, then make sure to let me know down in the comments. One way that you can make sure that you stay profitable at almost all times is by using this amazing feature that Facebook has called rules. What you can do inside this rules is amazing. You can come over here and say create a new rule, and you can set different parameters that will allow your ads to run as long as they're profitable. So for example, you could just name this rule name rule number 1, and you could say apply to all campaigns. You could come over here and search ROAS. So if your website ROAS is over 1.5 for the last 2 days, then you can set up a few different metrics on this. So one way to use this, if your website ROAS is over 1.5, then you can increase your daily budget by $100. Which this will make it so your ads scale without you looking at it every day, which is really nice. And then the other way we could actually use this, if we come over here and put turn off campaigns, if your website ROAS is less than 1.3. So you could just set that up just like this. It's super easy. And now what's gonna happen is every 2 days, it's gonna look at this, and if your website ROAS isn't at least 1.3, then it's gonna shut that campaign off. And what this is gonna allow you to do, it's not only gonna allow to catch the campaigns that aren't profitable, but it's gonna allow you to scale without you doing it manually, which trust me, it's gonna come in handy, and you won't have to analyze your campaigns every day. Once you get some profitable campaigns, it's really easy to scale with these rules, and that's why I wanted to show you so you guys can use these every single day while you're running your ads. And once you set those rules up, all you need to do is click create, and then they'll be running for you automatically. So right now you should have some profitable Facebook ads. If you don't, then you probably messed up creating your website. So make sure to check this video out so you can make sure that you create a website that's guaranteed to get sales. And another video I highly recommend you guys check out is this video, which will show you guys how to find profitable products. So when you test them out, they'll have the highest chance of being successful. And also, if you have any questions regarding this video, make sure you click the first link down below because it's a completely free Facebook mastermind where you can actually connect with me and ask me any questions. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is to remind you that once you get this video to 800 likes, I'm going to be creating that document of the top 10 products you can sell using this exact Facebook ad strategy. So make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel right now because every week I'm releasing the hottest dropshipping and business content. But that's all I have for you guys today, so stay safe, take care, and peace out, guys.